I'll just, point out that in the 1940s, Black Americans were brought into the tax-paying public like their white peers, except we had federal programs that excluded benefits to Black Americans. So Black taxpayers are paying for benefits they're denied getting. But none of this would be known because the IRS doesn't publish statistics by race. Okay, so it's really important to think about data collection. It's really important to think about what can't we know if we don't have the data, and to think about how the IRS and Treasury has been, it's changing, but has been an outlier. Because think of all the government data on race that's out there. We know homeownership rates by race. We know labor rates by, wages by rates. We know all of this information because the government publishes it. But Treasury and IRS has been this little island that until the whiteness of wealth came along, nobody really was talking about race and tax. And now we have a couple of studies that show, yes, race and tax are related, and we have these tax breaks that are disproportionately received by white Americans. Okay, so you raised the question of horizontal equity. And when we think about horizontal equity, another part of our progressive tax system is based on ability to pay. The higher your income, the more you can afford to pay, which is why, in the very beginning, the only people who paid were rich white Americans, because they had the greatest ability to pay. So now we have an income tax system where as your income increases, your tax rate is supposed to increase. It doesn't, because we have loopholes like the capital gains taxation at the federal income level, right? But putting the loopholes aside, the argument is as follows. A household with $100,000 should be paying more than a household with $50,000 of income. And horizontal equity would say one household with $100,000 is the same as any household with $100,000. And one of the things I push back in the book is if you have a single wage earner household, married couple, spouse A makes $100,000, spouse B stays at home, works at home, and you have a different married couple where spouse A and spouse B contribute $50,000 each, tax law would tell us those couples are equal, but they're not. One household that has a $100,000 income is going to get tax-free benefits. Those jobs tend to come with health insurance. They tend to come with retirement accounts. They tend to come with all kinds of tax-free subsidies, and the subsidy of the value of services the stay-at-home spouse is providing that the U.S. doesn't tax, but other European countries do. Whereas the two-income earner, $50,000, not only do those jobs typically not come with those tax-free benefits, health insurance, retirement accounts, that couple is finding ways of paying for two cars, paying for child care, often with after-tax dollars. But the law would tell us that those two households are equal. And I push back on that in the book, and I say there's no way those two households are equal. And if you had your choice, you know which one you'd rather live in.